Hunter.
Hey, it's Hunter.
Oh, hello?
Hello, Hunter.
Hey, I don't know why that XSplit thing is showing up. Pardon my dust. I'm hoping to bring sort of the, maybe not as controversial as you'd like, but I'm going to step up the questions here, all
Okay.
right?
Yeah, please do.
Okay, so you guys have done over 300 podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty impressive. I have been here since the early days. I have seen the transformations that this show has gone through.
Yeah.
And I want to ask, and I should have asked this, I've been meaning to ask this for a while, since the 300th one, but I just haven't been able to tune in. What is sort of like, what is your favorite moment of this show, from beginning to end?
Moment from doing the podcast all these
Yeah,
years?
yeah. Podcast specific.
Favorite podcast moment?
Yes. Not necessarily live show, you know, but like anything. Any
when we found Osama bin Laden was dead.
That was such a perfect moment.
That's pretty high up there. Yeah.
Within 30 seconds, like,
Yeah.
got up,
Oh, yeah.
dancing, or like,
Yeah. That was amazing.
That or yeah, Bin Laden death, or I had another one the other day too that was cracking me up. When the fat man.
Fat Man was...
Oh, yeah, okay, so there was a call earlier today that reminded me of that, but I don't remember what it was. But yeah, I was just thinking about that today as well. I think my favorite, honestly, and this is sort of, it was an ongoing thing, but it was from the early days of the live show, were the Hot Cheeto calls, the Hot Cheeto videos.
Yeah.
Those were amazing. Cool. I looked forward to those every single week.
Yeah.
And they were fantastic. Perfect.
Yeah, those were really cool. Damn, I missed that.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
One that I remember laughing so hard I couldn't breathe is when it was during the Christmas cast with Drunk Sean. I forgot what year that was. But
with the wine?
When you threw butter at him, like, and he pulled it off of whatever, I think it was in his hair, and he threw it at you, and it just, you could hear the slap of it hitting your cheek and sticking. And I remember it did that, and then you immediately, like, I don't want to smell it, and you started, like, gagging into your bag.
Yeah.
I lost it. Just that slap of just...
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And it's sticking on the side of your cheek.
Yeah.
Killed me.
I think that is probably the best Christmas cast.
Yeah, Drunk Sean needs to come back.
Although
it's not going to happen. But
my favorite Christmas cast moment is Frank starting a rousing "fuck NASA" and then
puking.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Oh yeah.
I can still watch like that clip over and over and just burst into laughter because it's so perfectly timed.
Yeah.
That was good too. Yeah, the Derek Clit moment was also good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Sean saying some terrible things about women in the early days. That was also pretty funny.
Oh yeah, terrific.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Actually, that's if I can get in another question.
Yeah.
This is also slightly more controversial, maybe.
Hey, let's go. Hey, fuck it, dude. It's after hours. Let's get personal. Ask me who I'd fucking kill if I could.
Okay, it's not quite that personal.
Okay.
But, and you know, I think I have some assumptions, but obviously, like, some of the stuff in the early, like, the audio podcast was really, there was a lot of offensive material in that, and I feel like you guys have shied away from that. Do you think that's just because you're getting older, or do you feel like you're more conscious about, like, trying not to offend?
There's very few things that we are like, oh, don't say that.
Right, because I remember you guys used to say, like, you didn't realize how many people were actually listening to your show back then, you know, so it was like, you didn't have as big of an audience that you could potentially piss off.
But honestly, too, we were still really out of high school, you know, we were not that far out of high school.
It was in your bedroom, like, it was just...
Yeah, so we were, you know, we just didn't care about that in the way that you don't when you're that young, and you're... I had friends who, when I was out of high school, I had friends who filmed a video and they rolled down the street and they threw a milkshake at a guy walking down the street. Wrecked his clothes. And that was so funny to them. And I remember thinking, you wrecked this guy's day. Yeah. But, you know, when you're that age, you don't care. Now, that being said, I haven't lost my desire to confuse people in the way that our videos always have or anything like that. To me, it's just all about, like, don't harm someone's property. But I've always felt that way, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
But coming to our podcast, to be abrasive all the time, it just gets old, and I think
it definitely does.
We never sat down and said, oh, don't say this anymore, or don't do that.
Right,
we very rarely have ever done that. It just, you get older and you just don't. I think there's a lot of stuff we still don't give a shit about, but I don't know. It just, you don't. When you get older, I think you realize you don't need to try so hard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think a little bit of it is that. So yeah.
Well, and it's funny because I think that's also reflected in the fucking commentaries. Like, if you listen to the original version one commentary and listen to like the newest commentary, there's so much less like, you're not trying so hard to sell yourself, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I remember the early commentaries. We talk about how it sounds like we're pitching a film.
Yep.
And now when you do it now, it's like, hey, this is a fun thing. It's just whatever. I think that I still see that in a lot of YouTube people. I still sorry, somebody said something in the chat that I just remembered and making me laugh. Anyway. What was I saying? I don't remember now. Sorry.
Oh, that's something that I gotta give shouts out to you guys for, is introducing me to the hit song "Smell Yo Dick," which is a song that me and my friends still sing to this all the time. So fantastic. And then fucking like Tosh.0 had that on his show or whatever. Years and years
they
later,
were late
to
the fucking party.
Yeah. That's old news.
Oh, but talking about the commentary though. I see it in other YouTube people now.
Yeah.
Too, when you'll see somebody and they act like, "Oh, hey, what's up, bitch? This is my channel and it's so good." And I'm just like, man, in a few years you're gonna look back at this video and realize you had no right to be that cocky. You had no right to, you just, when you're that young, you try hard. Ooh,
no, absolutely.
And it just, after a while, it gets old. Like, what do you, ugh.
Yeah, for a long time I was putting up YouTube videos that were just dumb shit. Like, I challenged myself to make a video every day, so it ended up a lot of them being, like, just nonsense, basically. But I went back and logged in to just see what I did, and I read the channel description that I had written, and it was, like, ragging on other popular channels at the time, so like Ray William Johnson and stuff like that. And looking back at that, I was just like, you know what, okay, maybe I don't like what they're putting out, but they're still popular, and I don't really have like, nobody watching my channel is going to read that and be like, oh yeah, he's right, this is better than Ray William Johnson, so
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, it's just I don't know, that it just gets old, that kind of thing.
It does, it absolutely does.
So yeah,
and it's not clever.
Is there a caller? Now you've been through since the beginning. Are there any callers that you miss?
I mean, Hot Cheeto, right off the bat.
Yeah, Hot Cheeto.
I'm trying to think.
That guy should call back.
Who else? I'm sure there are, but none that I can think of right off the bat. We have some new callers that I think have been fantastic.
Yeah.
Hot Cheeto is definitely the standout for me, as far as like regular callers. What about you guys? I mean, let's get controversial. Pick a favorite caller.
Who? I miss Danny. There was a girl named Danny. Do you remember her?
Yeah, I think so.
Blonde girl named Danny, and we could not get her to confess what her job was.
Yeah.
I remember that. Yeah, I remember that.
But she always had like really expensive collectibles, so she was doing something and she didn't want to admit to it.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the biggest mystery of all.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys remember when some kid called in and like was yelling or something, so his mom hit him? Because
that was that?
I do remember that.
That was interesting.
Oh yeah, the girl that wouldn't show you her fridge. Oh, I think that was Sunny. Sunny.
I don't remember.
Sunny Castles or whatever her name was.
It's been 300 podcasts.
I don't know how to say her last name.
Yeah.
But I think that was Sunny.
Yeah. Actually, that night that the child abuse happened, I was getting ready for a mock trial for high school, right, where you go in and pretend to be a lawyer or whatever. Yeah. I was a prosecuting attorney. I was supposed to have, you know, questions prepared and like sort of a draft of what I was going to do to persecute the person on trial. But I ended up just fucking staying up all night watching the podcast, because back then they would last till 3 a.m, like consecutively. Ended up writing my shit down on the way from the high school to the courthouse in a notebook. Like, had no idea what I was doing. I thought I had a good idea, and then like during the briefing that we had before the mock trial, the guy who was in charge of it was like, "Oh yeah, Hunter, you're also going to have to submit evidence." I was like, "Okay, well, this is the first I've heard of evidence. Like, how do I do that?" They're like, "Oh, just stand up and do it." So, you know, I squeaked my way by and felt like I did a pretty good job as far as like, you know, farting something out in 12 minutes goes. But then afterwards, the guy who was the judge was like, "Yeah, you were one of the best prosecuting attorneys that we've had." So, whoa. Mega64 podcast.
Hey, there you go, man.
Yeah, there you go.
It is. Well, great to hear. People in the chat are talking about podcast 22. And
podcast. No, anytime in any fucking podcast that there is a loud noise, not just your guys' podcast. I think back to podcast 22 and the entire year of hate mail that you got for podcast 22.
Hey, it's been years. We still get hate mail.
Really?
People go back and watch old episodes and like, "You blew out my Beats headphones." I don't know what the fuck program it was that we got, but we got a podcasting program that recorded so quietly, but then when you yelled, it would crank it up. What a stupid program. Yeah. So we were fucking with it so bad, and Derek screams into the microphone, and people have like lost car stereos to that part. We took it down immediately.
Yeah.
God, anyway.
Good times, good times.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for your call.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for picking up.
Wait, real quick. Hold on. Yes. Royce just said she was in a pageant of some kind last year, though I don't think she won. Royce, who was in a pageant? I want to see his answer. I want to see maybe he was talking about Danny? Danny Provolone?
Hello?
Give him a second to catch up.
Let's get an answer. All right. Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, he'll be reporting to the chat in just a second, I'm sure. Danny. Wow, it was her?
Huh.
I gotta look this up now. I'm gonna do some research.
It would be cool if you guys could somehow arrange some sort of like reunion podcast.
Yeah, no kidding.
You know, like
get all the old callers
back. That'd be awesome.
Are we still? I didn't know, because at one point we were friends on Facebook. I don't think we are anymore. I don't know what's going
on. And also another thing that I've always wanted.
Yeah.
Is a recreation of like an audio podcast. You know, just for the hell of it, you guys turn off the cameras and do like an audio.
Oh yeah.
Just close your eyes.
That's a good point. But honestly, like, they're not the same.
There is a different dynamic.
It is.
Yeah, you're right.
I think the early audio podcasts, when it was just in Rocco's room, were more charming, I guess. It was kind of like comparing Clerks to Kevin Smith's later films.
Yeah,
right?
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you take the good with the bad with both, but it was a little bit difficult. I don't know, like... Yeah. You got to expand it to more things, so it was a natural progression. But I know what you mean, though, definitely.
And that's not to say that, like, I love the live podcasts. I love the live shows. They're so much fun. But yeah. Anyways,
well,
I will get out of here and let somebody else call in.
Thank you for your call, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Take it easy, guys. Be careful with those donuts.
All right, we will. Bye.
Whoops. It just takes a second.